Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm really honored to be here to introduce myself. My name is Putri Nuril Wulan. I am a student at the State University of Malang. My major is accounting. On this valuable opportunity, I would like to present our research entitled The Effectiveness of Educational Games on Post-Pandemic Learning. In this presentation, I will explain 5 important points. First, introduction about this paper. 2. Literature review. Third, methods. 4. Result and discussion. And the last is conclusion. During the 21st century, disruptive learning has become a phenomenon in the educational world. Many learning innovations related to technology have emerged, and interactive game is one of those. According to research Ong Tung et al., the learning process could happen well when someone is happy and not stressed. As Todd et al. State that game in learning promotes the learners to take risks, and this faculty is acknowledged as a normative value by modern pedagogy. Game-based learning offers positive feature experience and both could go along well if conducted with game simulation beforehand with popular approach. Teacher is the most critical component of learning that holds crucial roles. They are demanded to possess various skills, so they could create learning innovation. The teacher has to be prepared to provide feedback to the students regarding the effective ways of learning, one of which is learning through the game. From the description above, it could be concluded that game-based learning gives positive effect on both student and teacher. Therefore, the researcher wanted to conduct a study on the effectiveness of a Cold War educational game at the high school level to measure the teacher level of readiness to face the era of disruptive learning. In this slide, I will explain 2 key points about this topic of the research. First is educational competencies. The 21st century people are demanded to possess better capacities than the previous generation. The competencies of the students and teachers are critically required during this century, as stated by the theory that the convergence of individual competencies is shaped from the synthesis of their self-potential and surroundings. Each human of the 21st century is required to be a technology that could utilize technology to learn. 21st schools should be based on digital technology, and they need to apply it for learning. The 21st century educational mastery is supported by technology in learning and education. Technology as a learning innovation is meant to develop education and to help minimize the skills gap. Besides, technology in education could assist the development of 21st century skills such as communication, creativity, persistence, and collaboration. The second is game-based learning. An example of the application of technology in learning is the use of the smartphone as a tool for media of inquiry in higher education. It is currently acknowledged that the use of the smartphone creates dynamic learning as the learners could utilize it to interact and collaborate with various sources and partners all around the world. Smartphone as learning media has various dimensions. To create fun learning, the smartphone could be used to apply game-based learning. In this sense, a study conducted by Cheng has proven that game-based learning serves better learning experience than the conventional ones. Another similar study conducted by Chen discovered that the use game-based learning could provide a better learning experience when collaborated with learning instruction that guide the student. Based on the study conducted by Chen, game-based learning could evaluate and train the learned skills and competencies. Therefore, this study would examine the relationship between educational competencies and technological knowledge. The coursework was applied in the classroom at two schools in Kediri and Blitar. First, at the High School 3 Blitar and High School 1 Kediri were the sample of the research. Those two cities were chosen with consideration of cellular signal coverage. The topography of Kediri is quite flat, therefore it has good signal coverage. On the other hand, Blitar has various ground levels that makes its signal coverage worse than Kediri. To measure the effectiveness of game-based learning, the researcher would apply a quasi-experimental design and employ independent sample t-tests to compare the learning outcomes of the students as described by the graphic below.